and the Underground Railroad. Wow. Where, as you all know, there were slaves, African Americans, that were seeking to escape slavery and to step into their freedom. And so there were many white families, and what I just found out also, Latino families that aided them in that journey. They provided safe housing, safe passage, and the like. And one of those families is called the Alonzo family, whom this very room was named after, that I am standing in. In fact, if you look behind me, if you were here, you would see that there are pictures and artifacts that are on the shelves, again, in honor of them. But even more, these men and women that this space honors and signifies, they knew the cost of freedom. They knew the high price of it, and they were willing, many of them, to pay, and did pay with their very lives. I remember a few months back sitting in my parents' house, and we were watching a prophetic story of someone named Araminta Ross, who was the daughter of Harriet Green and Benjamin Ross, and who we better know her as Harriet Tubman. This woman not only embraced the cry of her people, but I believe that she was a picture really of where we are today, of where we are as a nation, because there has been so much loss, so much trauma, so much captivity that our people have endured, not only during COVID, but way, way before COVID, right? But can I tell you that it is time for us to reclaim our stake? It is time for us to find our voices again, and to literally declare to this nation and every single opposing force that we will be free or die. We will be free or die. Wow. And there is no better way to amplify this cry but to have you join in with me in looking at a small, very small clip from the award-winning Harriet Tubman movie. So I want you to join with me and watch this clip.
Whoa, whoa, easy now. Easy now. I've decided not to sell you after all. The fact is, I'd miss you. You've been there all my life. And your mama was all my daddy's. Daddy vowed never to sell your mama. I'm vowing never to sell you. Come on back. I won't hurt you bad. Stay at home. Stay with John. Stay with us. Like that. I'm gonna be free or die.
Wow, wow, and wow. My God. That is so powerful to me, because her words, I'm gonna be free or die, literally became in that moment a powerful weapon that not only secured her freedom, but several others like her. Today, I want to talk to you about a topic called learning to weaponize your voice and secure your financial freedom. Learning to weaponize your voice and secure your financial freedom. Timothy, if you can put that first slide up for me, please. Wow, wow. Now I realize, and I'm gonna say this right from the outset, that this session is not for everybody, and that's okay. But I will say this, that those who have an ear to hear let him hear. Those that have an ear to hear, let her hear. In ONIONomics, we teach something called a financial operating system. We teach that everyone, self included, have a financial operating system. And if any of you, which I'm sure most of you, you can't hardly do it, live in this age and not have one. But if any of you have a cell phone, tablet, computer, electronic device, you understand the terminology of an operating system, right? Some of y'all, like me, have gotten a little pop-up, a little message on your phone, on your tablet that says you need to update that operating system, that iOS system. And like me, if you've gotten that message in the middle of the day and you mashing and you don't have time to let your phone boot all the way down and reboot all the way up, how many of y'all have been guilty like me of pressing that later button? Oh yeah, don't got time, can't do it right now, right? But if you do that multiple times over and over, what happens? It's going to inevitably affect the functionality of your phone, is it not? Of course. Of course it will. Because the operating system is not functional. It's not updated. It's toxic. It's not healthy. It's irrelevant to be able to do the functions that it's designed to do. So you have to update that operating system in order to get that end result, right? You and I, listen, all of us have a financial operating system right here. Wow. And that operating system, whether you realize it or not, has been forming since you were yay tall. I like to say it like my dad said it, before you were an inch in your daddy's pants. Listen, before you were even a thought, that operating system was forming. That operating system was forming on a Sunday afternoon when you were 3 years old, sitting on the couch with grandma, watching her cut coupons before going to the grocery store. Yeah. Your operating system was forming in the summertime when you would go cut grass with Uncle Jack and see him put a couple, $200, $300, $500 in a flour jar and then hide it behind the Jack Daniels on the second shelf in the kitchen. Your operating system was forming. Our operating systems have been forming all throughout our lives. When we've seen the electricity shut off, when we've seen mom pull out, food stamps, or, in order to feed the family, feed your siblings. You've seen and experienced things in life on your financial journey that had all shaped and formed this operating system. But it is this operating system that ultimately informs your financial behavior, not how much information you know. Now, I want that to sink in for just a minute, because that right there is completely contrary to most common thought when it comes to literacy training. Most traditional financial literacy training will tell you that the more information you know, the more tips and strategies you know, the more books you read, the more classes and seminars that you sit in, the more t-shirts and hats you got. Listen, that's how you change financial behavior. You just don't know. You just need to read more. You just need someone to sit you down and explain and teach you. Listen, do we need good, sound financial information? Absolutely. But the information by itself is not enough to change your financial behavior long term. Listen, I was reading the other day about something called a PFIN index, which is a financial measurement that measures 8 key areas of personal finance. The first is knowledge, earning, consuming, savings. It measures borrowing, investing, management and debt, ensuring, comprehending risk, and uncertainty. And I will tell you, as African Americans, on that index, we answered 38% of those PFIN index categories correctly, as opposed to our white counterparts that answered 55% correctly. I don't have to tell you guys that we have a major deficit and gap when it comes to financial literacy training within our African American communities. Even in that same index, our second highest score was in borrowing and debt management. So we know about some debt. We know how to be the borrower, but not the lender. We know how to get into debt, right? But these other key areas, we score very low in. We also scored low in questions relating to comprehending risk, investing, or being able to identify go-to information sources, which are critical amongst our people. So again, do we need financial information? Absolutely. But I will tell you unequivocally that that is not enough to change your behavior long-term. You may see momentary change for a month or two, maybe even 3, but eventually, it's just a matter of time. You're going to hit a wall. And that old, dysfunctional, outdated operating system will kick in, and it will literally overwrite and overpower the most logical, sound, reasonable financial information. Everything you just read in the book, everything you just got in that class, everything you just studied with your financial planner goes out the door like that. The key is we must rewrite the operating system. Wow. How do you do that? There is an old ancient saying that I love, and it says, "My tongue is the pen of a skillful writer." My tongue is the pen of a skillful writer. Wow. What does that mean? That means that your tongue, your voice, your mouth, and especially your words have power. Oh my God. They have power, you guys. I know that right now in this day and time, especially what we just saw on the news in this debate yesterday, it seems like our words do not have power, that they have no power, that they have just literally fell on deaf ears, that they have fallen to the ground with no power to change whatsoever. And can I be honest? Some of them have fallen to the ground because many of our words in this season have been interlaced with anger, with disappointment, with grief, with unforgiveness. And those words literally have no power to bring change. They have no power to shift anything. So when I say that some of our words have fallen to the ground, they have. But they're not the kind of words that bring real change. There is a kind of language that exists that will literally shift you from out of an old place and break you into your new. But you have to learn how to weaponize your words. Wow. Weaponize your words. Listen, let me share with you a little bit about the enemy to being able to weaponize those words. Fear. Fear. Fear will not only capture your voice, but it will pervert and distort your vision. That's the one thing that I love about the Harriet movie is that she used both in securing her financial freedom. She used her voice and she used her vision. Let me just tell you, that woman was able to see a way out that nobody else could see. Nobody else could see but her. And when she saw the way, then she was able to say what she saw. Say what she saw And that alone was able to bring hundreds into a place of freedom. Timothy, I actually was going on and forgot to have you switch my slide. If you can go to the third slide. A major key to being able to weaponize your voice is being able to connect with vision. To connect with vision. That means you have to not only have an ability to say, to speak, but you have to have an ability to see. When you see, then you can say what you see, and what you say has power to change. Say that again. When you are able to craft and connect to vision, that in and of itself will bring a multiplier to your words, where you're not just speaking, but your words have exponential power to shift and to change, because you're literally declaring and speaking in agreement with that thing that you were able to see. Listen, when I was, in college, I think most of you guys are third year, but I was just coming into my freshman year at Capital University. It wasn't the Ohio State, but can I get for Bexley? Lord have mercy. But I remember that my dad had given me this book on disciplines, and the author in the introduction told this story of this 9-year-old boy. And every single day when he would come home from school, his mother would make him practice the piano every day. And he was made to sit at this piano and literally practice for hours. And what made it so bad was where she situated this piano, it was right next to this window that looked out and overlooked onto a little baseball field, where all his friends every afternoon were out there kicking it. Fantastic. Listen, he could hear him cracking the bat every afternoon. I got it. Johnny sliding into, and he's thinking, that's where I should be. Why do I have to sit here at this daggone piano and practice? I went to school like they went to school. I did my homework like they did their homework. Why do I have to sit here? And the author made a statement that discipline without vision is like misery. It's like drudgery. It's painful. It even feels punitive, like you're being punished, because he could not connect it with his why. But one afternoon, all of a sudden, this angel appeared in the middle of his living room and transported him into the future. And they're sitting in this concert hall, just the two of them. It's pitch black, and you can literally hear a pin drop. But far, far ahead on the stage, he saw this small figurine of this man that was literally dressed to the nine. This man was, as they say back in he was creased. Listen, y'all don't know nothing about that. He was creased. Do y'all iron your clothes anymore? Listen, creased. My son just throws them in the dryer and takes them out and keeps it moving. But those of you that iron, y'all know he was clean. Yes. Had the coat, the tails, the whole nine, shining, spits, fire shine. And he began to walk across that stage. And when he sat down to take command of this instrument, the moment his fingers touched that ivory, it was literally like magic happened. This little 9-year-old boy's jaw dropped to the ground. Do you hear me? He had never seen or heard gyrations played like that, or anybody take command over an instrument. He didn't even know you could put chords together like that. And all his little 9-year-old mouth could say at the end was, wow. Wow. And then they were back in his living room. But before that angel left, he looked that little boy in the eye and he said, this is you in 20 years, but you've got to practice. And then he was gone. And the author was like, do you not understand that his practice is going to take on a brand new life? Of course. But why? What was it that that angel was able to gift him with in that moment that he did not have previously? It was the ability to peer into his future. It was the ability to see. He gifted him with vision of sight. Somebody told me years ago that vision is when someone reaches inside your soul and like a light switch goes and literally turns on the light for the first time. And you can see God's original intent for you. Wow. Let me tell you, that right there, young people, is a game changer. It is an absolute game changer. To be able to pull a piece of your future 20 years from now into your now, where it is literally living and active and real today, like you're living in your future, literally, it changes everything. You can say no to the baseball field. You can say no to that Negro that keeps on calling you at all hours, wanting you to come. You can say no to the girl with the Coca-Cola shake that just wants you to take her out. You can say no to all of those things because you've been able to see. And not only see, but you're able then to discern the enemy to that vision and say, no, you cute, but I can't. I done seen too much. I done seen my future. I can't unsee it. I can't. In ONIONomics, we talk about something called a financial flashpoint. Timothy, if you would do me the honor. A financial flashpoint, which essentially, by definition, is really a financial trauma. Next slide real quickly. It's a financial trauma, but its official definition is that it is the most dominant, significant, and emotional experience hitherto that you have ever walked through as it relates to your money. The most dominant, significant, and emotional experience that you've ever had to deal with surrounding money. A financial flashpoint. Why? Because it operates like a flash bulb in your brain, in your memory. And at the most inopportune times, when you are least expecting it, that flash bulb turns on. Anytime you are dealing with money, interfacing with money on any level, making it, spending it, investing it, saving it, earning it, those flash bulbs, without any warning, boop, will turn on. And all of a sudden, you're seeing everything and everyone through that lens. Let me tell you guys, trauma is not fun. But trauma can color your vision in such a way and distort and contort your vision in such a way that you can know that your thoughts are twisted and demented when it comes to money, but have no ability to change them because the inner thought process is literally being energized by an outside force that is designed to hold you captive. And so that thinking can become a prison of its own making. Listen, I speak primarily to the justice involved and reentry community. That is a very nice, politically correct way of saying people that are in jail. And I can tell you firsthand, there are all types of jails. There are all types of prisons. And a financial flashpoint, if undealt with, can become a literal mental, psychological, and financial prison for years and generations to come. Next slide. So what is the answer? Deal with the unfinished business of that trauma. Deal with the unfinished business of that trauma. Listen, some of y'all have experienced trauma right here in COVID-19. Your moms, your dad have lost their job, cut back on hours. Some of them can't even go to the workplace. By now, unemployment has run out. Or some people have just had to fudge or felt like they had to fudge or fraudularize to keep food on the table. We have all kinds of financial traumas. Some of you guys have walked through things with your family that you've never told anybody. You were shushed and hushed. Listen, this is our business. You don't tell anybody that, right? Some of you have had parents and loved ones that have fallen prey to addictions, mental, drug addictions, where they've sold things, stolen from you, betrayed you in order to feed that fix. I had a gentleman in Jackson Pike who told about when he was a little boy how he was looking forward to Christmas for the first time and ran downstairs hoping to see gifts under the Christmas tree for him, only to find out that his addict mom had gone the night before and sold every single gift to feed her fix. Wow. Wow. And to this day, he can't stand Christmas because it's a trigger. Listen, you've got to not only deal with the unfinished business of the trauma, but you've also got to be willing to face the belief, the false belief structure that holds it in place, that keeps it in place, that gives it life, that gives it strength. Listen, when we do ONIONomics all throughout our course, we look at multiple case studies of financial flashpoints. Now, these are individuals that have walked through real life financial traumas, and we change their names for privacy reasons, but the stories themselves are real. They actually have happened, and these individuals have at some point gone through or undergone some type of financial therapy, and so they've shared pieces and parts of their story during these sessions that have been captured and tracked for these purposes. One that we often tell in our session 2 is about a little girl named Janelle. Now, again, we changed her name for privacy reasons, but Janelle tells this story at age 45-ish or so, where her dad one afternoon was trying to teach her the importance of saving money. So he made a deal with her and said that this summer, whenever you get money, half has to go in the bank, period. Hands down, no questions asked. The other half, you can do what you will. I'm not going to dictate it. I'm not going to put any strings on it, but half has to go in the bank. That's non-negotiable. And so she followed his plan for several weeks, in fact, and started to see her little ledger grow and grow and grow. She started to feel a sense of empowerment and, God, this whole savings thing, that might work. Until one afternoon, she walks into the bank. And like on many other days where she had come to make a deposit, she asked the teller to give her balance beforehand. And the teller looked at her with this strange, bewildered look on her face like, did you not know that your dad had come in the day before and he took everything out of there is nothing in your account, sweetheart. Your balance is 0. She turned around in complete disbelief. And the very first opportunity she had to confront him, he looked her in her eye flat-footed and said, baby girl, that was my money, and walked away. That, my dear friends, is a classic financial flashpoint. It is a very dominant, significant, emotional experience around money. And most financial flashpoints happen in our childhood. They happen many times younger than many of you are. I've taught at the juvenile detention center where some of these kids have seen uncles, parents, loved ones shot behind some money, raped behind some money, pimped out behind some money. Let me just tell you, we all have a myriad of financial flashpoints that we go through in life. But the problem with them in our childhood is that you're dealing with a very underdeveloped, naive, immature mind trying to wrap itself around this very adult, complex situation that just happened and make sense of it. And many times, like many traumas, we're not trying to process it correctly. We're just trying to stop the pain. We're just trying to resolve it somehow in our brain. And in the process of trying to do that, we form something called a money script. Now, I'm not going to get deep into a money script because we literally have an entire session in our curriculum dedicated to explaining and teaching on money scripts. But a money script, just in short, is a personal vow or promise that you make in the throes of a financial trauma that answers the question, how do I prevent myself from ever having to experience the pain of this trauma again? How do I self-protect myself from this man who is my father, who's supposed to be watching out for me and protecting me and looking out for me, and whose idea this was in the first place? I could run away, but where's that going to get me? So if I have to live here, what do I have to do to survive this space financially? Janelle's money script became, anytime I get money, I'm going to spend it before anybody else can take it from me. Wow. Wow. At 12 or 13 years old, this became her script. Money scripts are also called survival beliefs because they are the one thing that helps you, quote unquote, survive. It's the one thing that gets you through, and it doesn't have to make sense, you guys. It doesn't have to be logical. It just has to make sense in its original context. And that's that I got this man that took everything I had behind my back without permission, without asking. And if he did it once, he can do it again. But the problem is it gives you the false belief that you've dealt with the business of it. But that business is very much unfinished. And when it's allowed to go unchecked, just like Janelle, you'll find yourself 45 years old down the line, good paying job, stable career, good fat paycheck coming every 2 weeks, and literally living from paycheck to paycheck, hand to mouth. No retirement, no savings, no future. Wow. Let me tell you, that is a sad existence, you guys. It's a sad existence. But the same will happen for us if we don't ever learn how to not only deal with the unfinished business, but ultimately to rewrite that script. Let me just say this. There's a lot of programming out there right now, a lot that is designed to keep you captive. I don't know how many of you guys have ever worked for fast food place or listen, I'll just admit, when I was in high school, I worked for Mickey D's now. How about that? Worked for McDonald's. It wasn't for long because I couldn't take it. I remember I didn't even give 2 weeks. I just called up one day and was like, I will not be back. How about that? I could not take it. But I will tell you that even in that, I remember they trained us. They literally trained us, whether you on the register, pushing a broom, in the drive-through, everybody had to upsell. Would you like a supersize with that? Would you like ice cream? Would you like Sunday with that? Would you like to supersize your fries, supersize your drink? Everybody was trained that way. Why? Because they had done research, and research showed that 1 out of every person, 1 out of 2 people you ask would literally change their order just by you asking the question. If I was a business owner, all y'all gonna be trained to ask that question, okay? Because it literally is gonna double my bottom line. There is so much erroneous training out there, coding out there, messaging out there designed to keep you captive, to keep you poor, to keep you broke, to keep you enslaved. It's up to you to decide what programming, what scripts you're going to fall into agreement with and which ones you're going to fall out of agreement with. Listen, as I begin to wrap up today, I want to talk to you about something, thank you, called the power of agreement. The power of agreement. Wow. I will tell you that it's a choice. You have to literally choose what you are going to fall into agreement with and what you will fall out of agreement with up here. Whatever you fall into agreement with, you are literally giving that thing power over you. You are literally giving that thing power over your future. When Janelle came into agreement with the script, anytime I get money, I'm going to spend it. She was literally giving that script power to engineer a future of poverty, of lack, and from living from hand to mouth for the rest of her life. Sad, sad existence. And the same is true with us, but can I tell you, it is absolutely and totally preventable. But it's going to take confrontation.
Yeah.
It's going to take confrontation and a willingness to fall out of agreement with the lie that you bought into, and to likewise fall into agreement with the truth. I want to do something today, just a little practicum. This is a class, so I don't want y'all to just sit and listen to me. I'm going to have Timothy put up the next slide. I want you, if you have pen and paper, if you don't, go run and get one. I want to do something, an exercise called a springboard. And I've given you 2 launching pads here that we're going to use on tonight. And what I want you to do again is get a piece of paper and a pencil or some type of writing utensil. And on the very front of that paper, I want you to number from 1 to 3. From 1 to 3. If you can, go ahead and do that now. From 1 to 3. And what I want you to do is I want you to go back as far as you can in your memory. And I want you to track and even identify 3 lies, 3 beliefs, false beliefs that you know, if you're honest, you bought into as it pertains to your finances and your life. 3 false beliefs I'm never going to have anything, never going to make anything, have anything, worth anything. My parents didn't have anything, and I don't think I'm any different. I don't see wealth in my future, because anything I get always gets taken. Any little bit I get always gets taken. Something always happens in my checking account, in my savings account. Every time I get a little bit ahead, take 2 steps forward, something always pushes me 10 steps back. So I'm just going to stop hoping for better, for more. Maybe your belief is like Janelle's. I can't trust anybody, especially my blood, with knowing anything that I have. I will never, ever give anyone, not even my wife or husband, full disclosure, because people will take advantage of you. And I've been disappointed too many times by those closest to me. So I can't open up myself again. What are 3 false beliefs that you can identify with? No man will ever control my purse ever again. I saw my mom go from one relationship to the other relationship to another relationship, dependent upon a man. And he ran her and he ran us. And I promise you, I bet I won't. 3 false beliefs. I need you to be honest. Flip your paper over. And I want you again to number from 1 to 3. Give you a minute to do that. On this side of your paper, I want you to identify 3 corresponding truths that literally cancel out those false statements. Now, let me just say this before you start writing, and I need you to hear me. This has nothing to do with how you feel emotionally. Nothing. I don't care if you feel it down deep and fuzzy down deep in your shanana. I don't care. When you come into agreement with a belief, with truth, you have to put a stake in the ground and say, this is a decision that I am making today. My emotions will have to catch up later. Listen, and they will. You don't base what you write based upon how you feel, or even if you believe it in the moment. It is a choice. It's a choice. Some of y'all are right at a place of crossroads where you can make a choice to go this way or to go that way. And how you choose will literally determine your next. Get your pens, and I want you to craft 3 truth statements. I will no longer allow loss to determine my future. Wow. I will learn how to trust again. Wow. I will no longer stay financially immature. It's time to grow up financially and be a man and be a woman. I'm no longer going to depend on mom, grandpa, the universe, karma to keep rescuing me from every bad mistake I made with my money. It's time to grow up. 3 truth statements that you know you must fall into agreement with if you're going to get to that next place that is right in front of you. what I want you to do, on the bottom of either side, it doesn't matter, or you can get a completely different paper altogether. I want you on the side of false beliefs to choose the one belief out of the 3 that you wrote that you know if you do not fall out of agreement with, it's going to imprison you for life. I want you to choose the one belief that you must, before this session is over today, make a decision to fall out of agreement with, and I want you to write it in to the blank place on this springboard. So essentially, you will have to write the springboard itself, which is, I used to believe, and then fill in the blank with the one belief out of the 3 that you know you've got to fall out of agreement with, or else. What is that for you? I used to believe, and put that in the blank. Do it quickly. Do it quickly. Underneath, moving through this, guys, underneath, I want you to write the second part of this springboard. My truth is. My truth is. And I want you to look on the opposite side of your page and pick the one corresponding truth that you are vowing, that you are making a decision on tonight to fall into agreement with from this day forward. Write it in. My truth is. Don't care if you believe it. My truth is. Don't care if you feel it. My truth is. Write it in. Timothy, I'm going to ask if you can actually close out of the PowerPoint for just a minute. I need to see everybody's faces. Thank you. Has everybody been able to do the exercise on your paper? All right. What I'm going to ask you to do is to get on your feet. I don't care where you are, at home, in your bedroom, in your dining room, in your closet. Stand up for me. And I need you to get your paper in front of you. Wow. Please hear me. One of the things that I believe is being resurrected in this hour, especially amongst African American people like you and me, is our ability to speak into our situations, our financial traumas, and literally see them shift. Literally see them shift. Recently, I was listening to this woman and she was telling about this vision that she had seen. It was really a hideous vision where she was dreaming, and in the dream, there was this ball. It was like a ball and chain that was literally lodged into her throat. And when she located it, she coughed it up. And she said she took it to the dragon that apparently had put it there. And she said, look, I found it. I found it. You can't hold my voice anymore. I found it. She said across her face, there was this apparatus, this thing that was like strapped where she couldn't speak. But I'm going to declare over you on tonight that whatever apparatus, whatever ball and chain has kept your voices captive is gone. I speak it off of you. No longer will your voices be held captive. Listen, what I want you to do as a company of students, I'm going to count you down on the count of 3, and you will unmute your microphones. And at the same time, on the count of 3, you're going to say 2 things, the entire springboard. I used to believe, whatever that is for you. My truth is, boom. That's what we're doing, guys. Listen, I don't want you leaned up against nothing. I don't want your hands in your pocket. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, step. Listen, get in your space. My God. On the count of 3, if you're not unmuted, unmute. 1, 2, 3, go.
I used to believe I can't meet, can't financially, can't grow financially. My truth is, I know that I can be financially mature and grow up.
Listen.
Yes, sir.
Oh my God, those were not just words. Can I just tell you, those were not just words. Now, I know you just said it for the first time and you just getting warmed up. We're going to do it again. Oh, we're going to do it again. Because we need to say it where all the oppression powers of darkness can hear you speak today on this
I used to believe.
September 30th. That's okay, Jason. Give me 1 second. Hey, I love it. Yay.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. On this day, on the last day of September, this is the last day your voice is going to be held captive. I release your voice. I release your voice. I weaponize your voice today. I break every generational curse off of you in your bloodline today.
Yes.
Every curse that is contorted and distorted. The generational wealth from generations past that has tried to stop and stay. Your future is broken today. Listen, counting it off. Get your papers. If you don't need your paper, put it down. Whew.
I got more. Right.
Listen, on the count of 3, you don't even have to wait till I get to 3. 1, 2, 3. I used
to believe I can't be released.
New day. I used to believe.
My truth is I'll be able to manage my money and grow up financially.
Oh my God.
And be responsible.
Oh my God. Your tongue is like a pen of a ready writer. You don't even understand. With your tongue on tonight, you have literally begun to rewrite your financial future. How about that? How about that? Have a seat for me. Have a seat for me before we close out today. Oh my goodness. I'm excited. Woo-hoo! I'm excited. I'm excited. Mute your phones back for me just a second. We are recovering our ability to speak. Some of y'all have had something burning inside of you, but you have not known how to say it, how to express it yourself. This is your season to open up your mouth wide and speak your truth. Speak every generational curse of poverty and lack off of you, off of your bloodline, and off of everyone that comes from you, before and after. Young people, you got to allow courage to rise up in you. And I'm not saying that you all are not courageous, but I'm saying that you've got to be willing, even when it feels weird, strange, or somebody might hear you, speak life over your financial future. Speak life. We've got to find a new way through the obstruction and find a new way to weaponize our words. And I honestly believe that tonight has been the beginning of a brand new financial narrative for you. I want you to know that I see all of your faces. I will be carrying you in my heart beyond this class. And I know that Mr. Timothy has my personal information. If any of you want to reach out to me for advice or to talk about the lesson today, or not, just to connect, I invite you to do that. I am hoping that we'll be able to do a full-fledged ONIONomics course somewhere in the near future. But until then, I want to sincerely, from the bottom of my heart, to say thank you, thank you, thank you for trusting me even in this small space. And I just believe that it's going to pay tremendous dividends to you and yours going forward. So having said that, I will turn it back over to Mr. Hinton and his team. And thank you again, you guys. This has been an awesome time for me.
Oh, man. Oh, man.
Woo!
That right there. Oh, man. Everybody give her a round of applause. Everybody. Everybody. Look. President, but we give you a standing ovation. Standing ovation. Right there. That was amazing. That was a beautiful, beautiful presentation. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. I'm gonna open it up to my executive team for some words to share, but and everybody, whatever you want to share, go right ahead. Go right ahead.
First, I want to say thank you, Miss Burke. Thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to come and talk to us. I know that Black Humanities, as we're forming this culture in our inaugural year, is for Black students who are interested in a profession of help, but this was for everyone. I admire and I am inspired by the poise with which you speak, the confidence with which you speak, and the I know are blessing hundreds of people. And I can think of off the top of my head so many people that need to hear this. So I want to say thank you, but also encourage you to keep going and keep doing this, because there is no way to measure the impact that ONIONomics and your service and your heart for people will have on others, because what you teach one can teach another and teach another and teach another. And so I pray that this continues going. And on behalf of Black Humanities, I just want to thank you again for coming today.
I just want to say that this whole conversation is so much deeper than money, as you've explained. Like, it really comes down to lifestyle and belief. Oh, my phone's like calling me, Lord. But this goes so much deeper than money for me, and I feel it. And every word that you said, literally, it's there. It's making sense and it's being received, and I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
I just want to say thank you so much for the powerful words. They meant so much to me, as well as it seems everyone else. You speak with so much passion, which makes people want to engage even more, because it's obvious that you love what you do and what you're talking about, and that you're very passionate about the topic. And it just made it even more, it made it 10 times more powerful. So thank you.
Sure, I definitely appreciate you, man. Like what a presentation. I know it was just so powerful and just so intense. I was just like, man, this is the type of wave that I'm trying to be on, especially with my money in the future, with just everything that I want to do. It just shows you we're at this young age. A lot of us 19, 20 years old, and they're we got a lot of work to do. But considering all the tips that you shared with us today, I definitely have the confidence to go forth in it.
I just have to say, there was that moment when I was writing and you were like, don't worry about the emotion or anything. And I'm like, because I was hesitant to write it. I was like, I don't know if I could do this. And then when you said, I was like, okay, just commit to it. It's just so powerful. And I can feel it. I feel it already right now.
We still got some. We still got some people that want to share. Everybody can share. Whatever y'all want to say, go right ahead. All right. I think that's everybody. Soon to be Dr. Burke. Look, Mrs. Burke. Oh my gosh.
Well,
thank you.
No, thank you. Thank you all for your words. Your words are just, they are touching me literally to the depth of my soul tonight. You couldn't have told me 5 years from now that I would be standing in this place, doing what I'm doing. It is just in itself, literally a miracle. I was the worst person I knew when it came to money. I mean, I was horrible with money. I was let alone teaching somebody, and I couldn't stand math, numbers. Oh my God. And I had this whole stigma of people that worked in finance, that they were boring and weird and a little off. Like, just, you couldn't have told me that I would be like teaching about money ever. So to find myself in this space and talking to, I mean, I just see kings and queens. I just, you know, in front of me. I'm telling you, y'all, you haven't even begun to understand, again, what you carry and what this next season is going to look like for you. So I feel like the honor was really all mine.
We just want to thank you again. Wow. That's absolutely amazing. We really, really, and 1,000 more reallys appreciate you and all that you're doing. And in any way we can continue to support you, we will. And I'm sure everybody on here, we want to see you again. So in any opportunity that we can, please let me know, and I'll get that out to everyone. Did you want to say something?
Can I say something? Yeah, I want to say something real quick. I just want to say thank you like a lot. So like I'm in the business field, so it was really like just refreshing to like hear what you had to say about like just financials and stuff, because like the reason why I went into business is because like I want to help my community to learn more about it. So that was like, you know, I've been really like questioning myself about just like my major and stuff. I don't know, just hearing you like talk about it really like just got me back to like where I was when I first started college. Like I really wanted to do this because of my family and just being able to help my community and like see them grow, and not just see my family grow, but just see my community as a whole grow, to be able to financially have something and, you know, pass it on to generations and generations. And so thank you a lot.
Wow, thank you. That was worth waiting for, Juwan. And I just want to encourage you if I can, and just, you have been one, I feel that, that sort of fits into a little bit into that category that I was talking about earlier of just, having all of this inside of you, but like not necessarily having the confidence or knowing how to say it, especially when it seems to be controversial or a little bit hard to take. But I'm telling you that you're going to be put in situations soon where, you won't be able to hold back anymore. It's like almost like you'll be in class and you're just like, oh my God, don't do that. You're like, but your hand is going up because you can no longer stay silent. You're not one really for a lot of shine and a lot of, fanfare or whatever. It's not about that, but I'm telling you, this is a season for people. I don't want to say no name, because that kind of has a stigma, like you're nobody. People just don't know your name yet, but he's going to be choosing people that are not normally on the front lines, that are not normally, the go-to, if you will, to do his bidding and to be his voice in this season. Listen, the past season is over. And the things that worked in 2019 will not work in this 21st century. It won't. The voices that were prominent, they will not have the same effect. It's time for new voices and a new generation to be raised up. And I see you as one of those voices in the mountain of business. Don't ever second guess yourself. You're where you need to be, for real.
Thank you. I needed that.
Once again, any closing remarks for soon to be Dr. Burke, Mrs. Burke?
Weaponize your voice, secure your financial future.
Yes, sir.
You got it, Jason. You got it. Listen, and you that Spitfire, man, that, you know, don't get it twisted with the glasses and like, don't get it twisted. You know, you that one that's ready to just leap out of those gates. And I saw that tonight and I so appreciate that. Yes, weaponize your voice and secure your financial future. Thank you. I think that is so appropriate. We started with that and I definitely want to end with that as well. Makayla, did you have your hand up, sweetheart? Oh, okay, okay. So thank you again, you guys, for this incredible platform, wonderful opportunity. Again, Timothy, just hats off to you and everything that you're doing through this program. You will see me again on some level, somehow we will connect again. So best believe that. So good night, everyone. Thank you so very much.
Good night.
All right.
Thank you so much again. Hey, everybody. Hey.
Hey.
You're crying.
Hey.
It's powerful stuff. It is powerful.